coming on to talk about something that I feel is really happening a lot, which is sort of that stereotype that people get upset about, of you know at every workout give it your 100%. And a lot of times people give blowback on it because they think their 100% is supposed to look like the 100% maybe from their trainer or the person that they're working out with, or a person that they see, I don't know, like across the gym, like completely crushing it. And I just want to come on and be completely honest with you about um, what I believe 100% means, for each person and at each workout, right? So today was a workout that I don't particularly like. However, um, sometimes what we don't like is oftentimes what we really need to incorporate in our like fitness routine or workout routine. So and there's always ways to modify, of course, because we everybody's at a different stage, everybody has different background, meaning like different maybe limitations as far as not being able to do certain movements, maybe not being able to really jump, or bend their knees as deeply, or as much. And so there's always ways to modify, obviously, every workout. And I highly encourage you to do so because you don't want to injure yourself. So my workout today was plyometrics, and there's a lot of jumping. And as we all know, jumping overall is actually good for us at any age. Um, and again, if you need to modify certain ways how to do these movements, I obviously definitely encourage you to do that. But jumping is really good because it loads our skeletal structure, and that's really what keeps our bones strong, right? Like as we get older, a lot of times we feel like, oh, I'm not going to do the jumping at all, and I just do weight bearing exercises, which of course you absolutely should do. You should always do a combination of cardiovascular and your cardio exercises, and definitely resistance training, lifting weights. That those come in. It's a key. You have to do it. You can't just do only one. You should do both. And but when it comes to plyometrics, again, it's not just that heavy load like you do with lifting, but it's really the jumping, like that I'm gonna say like pounding. Obviously we don't want to like hammer away on our bone structure, but it's really that jumping, and of course soft landing, that really stimulates the our bones to stay strong, and so forth, right? Not just from like sort of the outside looking in, but the inside of the bone, really, like, because you don't want that to look like cottage or like Swiss cheese. You want the bone not just to look smooth and thick on the outside, but you also want to have the inside of that bone being strong as well. However, maybe you like whatever workout that you're doing, and hopefully you do similar workouts through a longer period of time so you can really see how you are progressing. Because a lot of times people get bored doing the same thing over and over and over again, but it's really a way of tracking your progress, right? Like, are you lifting heavier? Are you going to failure, you know, faster, or like how is your timing, like time under tension and so forth. So there's way to kind of like mix those things up, but you definitely want to do similar workouts so you can really see how you progress. But having said that, there's going to be days where you're going to feel like you're going to beat yourself up, right? Because like, how is it that like 2 days ago I was doing this workout, or maybe last week or whatnot, and you did really well, like you lifted really heavy, you felt really good, it was just completely like crushed that workout, you just so well, right? And and then now you're doing it again, and you feel like, oh my God, this was terrible. I don't know what was wrong with me. I couldn't lift as heavy today. I just feel like I, wasn't completely there, like mindset wise, 100%. And I really don't want you to beat yourself up over it, because we differ, like, depending obviously on your gender. If you are a female, you're going to have a lot of hormone fluctuations. And as cheesy and corny, or maybe as stereotypical that may seem, it is just true. That's just what it is. It's true. We are at different periods during our cycle, every month and so forth, and that's going to play a huge role, right, in our workout performance. And the same goes for if you're super stressed, you have a lot of other things on your mind that you're kind of like working through, right? Even if it's not at the forefront, it might just still be sort of in the back of your mind, and you're kind of like processing and thinking and analyzing while you're doing your workout. And sometimes it was because you just didn't get a good night's sleep, or maybe you didn't fuel correctly, at the beginning of your workout, or at the beginning, whenever you're doing your workout, whatever time of the day it is. So all those nuances play like a huge, role in how our workout goes. So when somebody says, give it 100%, then that means it's your 100% that day. Sometimes, you might start out with your workout already kind of semi-defeated, because you really don't want to do it, and because you're just feeling kind of down, or you just like have so many, like I said, so many other things on your mind. And you do it, but then maybe you find yourself actually getting sort of in the rhythm of it, like, as you start, with your 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes in, and you're really like, okay, this is better now, I can do this, whatever, right? But it's still your 100% at that given moment. At each stage of your workout, it's your 100%, and depending on how are you feeling, that and what your 100% looks like that day, that is what you're going to give. And your 100%, today is like totally on fire, like it's just, I mean, like the best you could be, right? And then maybe tomorrow your 100% is not the same. It's kind of scaled down because of whatever reason and circumstances, but it's still your 100%, all that you can give at that moment in time of the day. You know what I'm saying? So it's not the 100% somebody has, who is working out around you or across the ways and so forth. And it might not even be your own 100% from the day before, the week before, and so forth. So don't beat yourself up over the, give it 100%, because you give your 100% of what you can at that moment. And when you don't, because there's one thing you cannot do is lie to yourself. You can do a crappy job knowing you did a crappy job and try to convince yourself otherwise. Like, that's just not working. You can tell somebody else who wasn't there while you were working out that you totally crushed it, and you just totally, like, threw it out of the park or whatever, like, you can tell somebody else who wasn't there, right? They believe you, but you cannot lie to yourself. It just doesn't work. So that's why you have to do your best every single time, no matter how you feel, but you show up. When you show up and you give it your all, however you feel at that moment and that day, whatever, you give it your all. And that is your 100%. And that's really all it is. So, like, don't get hung up on that, like, saying or that number or terminology, whatever. You do you, because if somebody else tells you otherwise, meaning like somebody else tells you like they're completely like crushing it, like to the utmost, and they're always at their highest level, unless they're professional athletes. And I dare to say that even like professional athletes have days that they're not at their highest peak performance, because we're human. We are, influenced by our environment, and that's just the truth. And don't let anybody else make you feel bad or put you down, because you showing up for yourself is a whole lot more than a majority of people are doing. So even if you had a bad day, or even if it's a workout that you don't want to do and you still show up, that in itself is a win. That in itself is already you beating most people. Period. I don't care what anybody says. So, so give it your 100%. That's all it is. Like today, plyometrics, don't like it. I don't like it. But I did it. And you know what? Even though going into it, I wasn't like excited about it. There were definitely times like, oh, this movement, okay, I can do this is good. Then there were movements like, oh my god, like I just don't like it, and you kind of going through the motions. I mean, you still obviously focus on the movement, and but you just know is not your best. You just know, right? And then you move on. You let that go, and you move on to the next move, or to the next block, or whatever it is, right? You just move on. Don't get hung up on the things. Just go do your thing. Right? Because guess what? I'm sure glad I did it. I am so glad that I finished. I'm glad that I didn't skip it. I'm glad that I didn't just say, nah, some other time. Because no matter what, at the end of it, you always feel good. You always feel good and proud of yourself that you showed up. And you should. You should, because most people, when they get those limiting beliefs in their head, and those thoughts that come through, and and they're looking maybe for excuses of why they should or should not work out, and it's like, what you seek you shall find. So if you're going to look for excuses, guess what? You are going to find them, and the more you look, the more you find. So don't get hung up on that component. Don't look for things because you want confirmation or validation on why you should not do something, right? This is for you. You're not working out necessarily for somebody else. I mean, everybody else may benefit, but most importantly, you do it for yourself. You should always start for selfish reasons. And for me, it's at least not about summer's coming, what, that's not what it is, because I gave up on that whole skinny stuff look, a long time ago, because you can be super skinny and still not be healthy. The outside doesn't always mirror what's going on the inside. And that's just the truth. I'm going for strong. I'm going for endurance. I'm going for strength and cardiovascular health. I want to be able to do working out helps me enjoy all the things that I really want to do in life, more. If I like hiking, for instance, so I know that doing endurance training, work, and maybe and even plyometrics, even if I don't like it, I do it, and I know it helps me when I'm out hiking steep, inclines, declines, and stuff like that. It's easy, and I'm still breathing heavy, but I do better. So working out is not a punishment. I don't look at it as a punishment, I have to, oh, here we go, I have to beat myself up today. That's not what it is, right? We work out because it feels good, maybe not at the moment, but it feels good, and it's good for us, and allows us to enjoy all the other things that we really want to do so much more. And that's what it is about. It's not about looking a certain way, unless you're a professional athlete, or you're a bodybuilder, or you're bikini competitor, or whatever. Then obviously that's different, and without those people are in a completely different category that I don't fit in, and I don't want to, right? But just go for health. And sometimes you have to do the hard things, right? When it comes with our workouts, and it is the same as in life. When you can totally like crush that work again, whatever crushing your workout looks like for you today, but you did it and you got through it and you didn't talk yourself out of it. And you already beat like everybody else around you is still sitting in a cubicle munching away at their fast food burger, okay? Like, you crushed it. That's a win. Like, you already won. And if you can do those hard things, like not talking yourself out of it, like showing up, doing it anyway, even though like it's just like grinding away at you, right? Like, but you just did it, and like coming out of it on the other side, and you go like, man, I did that. Like, I didn't want to, but I did it. You know what? If you can do these things during like for your hard workouts, right? Like, you can really win there. You can win at anything else in life because you already proved to yourself that it's possible, that you show up compared maybe to other people. You didn't talk yourself out of it. You didn't come up with like a million excuses of why not. You could have, but you didn't. And maybe you were thinking about all of them while you were working out, but you didn't quit. You did it, right? You finished. You didn't just start, but you actually finished. So that means you can do it in any other aspects of your life. And you know what? Every time like somebody is like coming at you in life and you feel like you're doubting yourself, you can think about like, look at that person and think about, you know what? I could totally beat you in that race. I could totally like beat you in the bench press. I could totally beat you doing, however many squats, burpees or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like, you look at a person and go like, no, I can totally beat you. And because I can do that, I can also like realistically compete with you on the stage of life. And that's it. Like, you have to sometimes remind yourself like how strong you really are, because when it comes to working out, it's not always about strength as far as physical strength, because there is a whole lot more going on there. There's a whole lot more mental strength that comes into play when it comes to working out. So keep that in mind. Be proud of yourself every single time you don't quit, every single time you showed up for yourself, even when you didn't want to, because that's a win. You already won. Just showing up, you already won, because most people won't. Most people won't. They just go right out the back door, and you didn't. You just locked that dang door, and you just like, not leaving here until I'm done. Even if I might not do as well today as I did yesterday, but I'm not leaving. So you already won. You already tough. Have like that mental toughness before you even do any physical like exertion. So be proud of yourself for that. So again, don't get hung up on the 100%, because we all bring our 100%, and it's going to look different every single time. It just is. And that's normal. Like, we're not robots, right? We're not machines that, you can just like reset and you start all over, and it's just going to be the same. We adjust, we adapt, we make progress, we have setbacks, we make progress again, and that's okay. That's how we learn, that's how we grow. We're not growing if everything is always exactly the same. If we don't have challenges, if we don't have obstacles, if we don't have hard things coming our way, how are we going to build resistance, build that grit, and go beyond? Like, if it's not challenging, we're not growing. We're not really getting better. And it's not just that in your workouts, whatever. If it doesn't matter if you work out in the gym, at home, outside, inside, doesn't matter. But it's life like that too. Like, And we have to be honest with ourselves. If we do the same thing, like, a hamster wheel, like over and over, yeah, we adapt. Our bodies are really smart and we get really good at that one thing, right? And it's not, then it's all of a sudden not challenge anymore. You know what happens? We get bored. We get bored. We get burned out. All the things like we don't actually like, right? We get, is it really at some point worth even bragging about it still? Because it's almost like you can do it in your sleep, right? No, we get excited, good or bad, when something new comes our way, right? We might get like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. I've never been here before. I've never done this before. I don't know. But you figure it out, right? You figure it out. You adapt and you progress. And man, is it not a good feeling when you like jump over that hurdle, right? You're like, oh, I can do this. Like, I didn't think I could, but here I am doing it, right? Same thing in life when you face challenges, right? We overcome them and we get stronger because we learn and we adapt, and we can put that little, ace in our pocket, and we can use that again as like like almost like memory recall, right? We're gonna use that again at some point to help us elevate even further. Or maybe also we can use that to help somebody else, right? We pay it forward by helping somebody else get through whatever hard time. So again, don't get hung up on the 100%, and definitely don't compare yourself to anybody else, because you're not a copy of somebody else. You're just a one of a kind, and therefore your experience, even maybe similar to other people, is not going to be exactly the same. So don't look for other people for validation. Don't look at other people like a comparison, to compare yourself to them, but rather, if you see something or that you like, or like somebody that you like, wow, look at them, that's really cool what they're doing, use that as inspiration. Because guess what? If that person could get there, that means you can too. And how you get there might look different. How long it takes you might be different for you. But you also know, by looking at that person, that it is possible. So if you are ready and you truly commit to whatever it is, then you can make it possible for yourself too. But don't look at the timeline. They're already at chapter like 57, and you're still in the, the first page of the book, and you're just, you're still looking at the index, right? You're not even in chapter 1 yet. So don't compare yourself at your level to that other person. Just use it as inspiration. Maybe ask for advice. Maybe ask for, like, hey, what do you think? Like, should I do this? Like, get some help, get some suggestions, get some inspiration. But don't get hung up on a true like track of comparison. You are only going to be disappointed if you do that. Because you know what? At some point, they were where you are right now. Or maybe vice versa. So, don't shame on people. Encourage them. Encourage yourself. Lift yourself and others. Because there's room for everybody. Okay? So, again, your 100% going to be different than somebody else's, including your own from yesterday. And you know what? If today your 100% wasn't at peak, but you still gave it your all, then maybe tomorrow, you prepare differently. You maybe show up differently. And it's going to be a completely different story tomorrow. And if you feel like it's going to be worse tomorrow, or, you find out tomorrow that it was worse than the day before, so what? You still showed up. That means you still did more than anybody else, or not anybody, but like, the majority of people. So be proud. Be proud, because by showing up, you already took the first step. And you know what? The first step is always the hardest. And that, you already won right there, because most people won't even get to that point. Most people just turn around and go on their way and live with their excuses. But again, you can't lie to yourself, and that's just what it is. So anyway, so I wanted to come on and just share that, because I'm just trying to be honest. I'm just trying to, make it relatable. And hopefully you took something away from it. Leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Share. And definitely, no matter what, show up for yourself.